4 British activists have returned home after being detained by Israel for joining the Gaza aid flotilla. James Hickey, Malcolm Ducker, Hannah Sharpey-Schafer, and Sid Khan were part of the Global Sumud Flotilla, a mission aimed at delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza and challenging Israel's blockade. Israeli naval forces seized the flotilla in international waters, detaining more than 470 activists from over 50 countries. After days of uncertainty, the 4 Britons landed in London, greeted by cheers and emotional embraces at Heathrow Airport. Their return has reignited international debate over Israel's blockade of Gaza, which has restricted nearly 2.4 million residents for almost 18 years.
At gunpoint around 50 miles from Gaza in international waters. All our electronics and communications were cut. They were disabled using whatever technology they had, and high-powered water cannons were fired at our boats to damage them. We were then boarded at gunpoint by commandos and taken hostage. We were then taken against our will to Ashdod port in Israel. We were forced to sit in stress positions for up to 12 hours in the sun, and many were physically attacked. And we spent hours with our hands zip-tied behind our back, on our knees, including the elderly. And you'll see Malcolm when he comes out. I mean, the guy can barely walk, and he was basically told to stand, to kneel on his knees, look down. Anybody that looked up would effectively be pushed around. And there were like lots of elderly people that were sitting with their zip-tied hands in the back for about 3 hours. I was also for about 4 hours. Where was I? Okay.
Take a deep breath.
Many were physically attacked. All our belongings were taken. We were strip searched. All chronic medications were removed and were not given back. And then we were taken on a 3-hour bus journey on prison vans to the Negev desert, to high security detention camp. Many were blindfolded for the entire journey and zip-tied. All of us were zip-tied. Our hands were zip-tied, and we were sat in the boat, in the buses. And many were also physically attacked throughout that journey. In the cells, we were held in high security cells. Each cell was about 4 meters by about 5 meters, and
4 by 8 meters.
4 by 8 meters. It had one toilet in it, one small sink. It had 8 beds, and there were up to 15 of us in each one of those cells. Most of us, including me, had not left for the entire 6-day period. We were held for 6 days. And most of us did not leave that prison cell for the entire duration, except once to go and see a judge who told us that we were trying to legally enter Israel and tried us for it. And then many of us never saw legal representation, access to medication, chronic medication. There was a diabetic patient who could not get insulin or did not get insulin for up to 5 days. He was 86 years old. And none of us were allowed access to, well, most of us were not allowed access to lawyers, and nobody got a phone call to make. We were constantly under threat of physical violence. There were dogs that were regularly brought in. Guns were pointed at our foreheads while they were being cocked. We were also woken up, so there was sleep deprivation. Every 2 hours, they'd bang the doors, turn the lights off, make us all stand up. And they did this every couple of hours, every night throughout the day. And in parallel, they were running this documentary at loud volume, showing images of 7th of October throughout the day with loud volume, and at night time as well, for the duration.
Now, I don't know if you know why we were delayed, but basically it was an absolute disgrace. We arrive in this country, and one of our group, 2 of the guys have already come through because they had connecting flights, but one of them was held at border control because the officer that was dealing just to let him into the country was a Jewish man and was not comfortable with dealing with him. And that delayed us. That's delayed us all this time. Instead of just passing him on to someone else, to be frank though, someone like that with those prejudices should not be a border control officer. It's a disgrace and he should be removed, and we will be taking action. I had a meeting with the British consul, or one of his staff, on about day 3. I told him that how we were being held and how we were being treated. And I saw him again on day 5, and they achieved absolutely nothing. But then I didn't really expect them to. But this was in stark contrast with the support given by the Spanish, Italian, Greek and Turkish consuls. They even provided flights. They put special flights on for these people, whereas our guys basically said, you're on your own. However, we then were taken to the border with Jordan, and we are so grateful to the people of Jordan for their loving support and hospitality as we finally returned home. I would like to say, though, that our experience pales into insignificance compared with the daily violence suffered by the Palestinians. And the main thing to remember is this is not about the flotilla, but about the ongoing starvation and genocide of the Palestinian people. Of course, there have been other flotillas, single boats sometimes, 2 or 3 boats. Most of them have been British flagged vessels, and this government has done absolutely nothing to protect them. It's something, this sort of piracy is something that you would have seen in the 17th and 18th century. And now this government just turns a blind eye because they are so involved with Israel. They're so pro-Israeli that they're not even prepared to protect their own citizens. They much prefer basically to protect the Israeli people and not the British citizens.